Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 129. Debbie, Disheartened Generalist to Fully Booked Specialist.
We have been chomping at the bit to have this week's guest on the show for ages. Like Joe and I have been talking about it for months and months and months. And then finally it's like, we just need to email Debbie and see if she wants to come on. And thankfully, Debbie, you agreed. Welcome.
Thank you. Really excited to be here today.
Oh, we're so excited to have you on because your journey has been a really interesting one to be part of. And in particular, obviously going by the title of the podcast episode, we can't wait to have you share that story of going from a generalist and kind of niching and then finally going all in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my journey started obviously before I became a virtual assistant. So working in office work, and I did an OE. So I did sort of like temp work overseas in London. Then I was a nanny. So I've done lots of different things, a bit of traveling. I've worked for lawyers. I've worked for construction companies. I worked for a bank, which was probably my longest. That was like 12 years. So I've done lots of different things. And when I decided to become a VA, I'd heard about it first, and I looked into it, and I remember talking to someone I knew who was a business coach, and she actually advised me against it and said, "Oh no, there's far too many people doing that." And this was probably 2017. So like compared to these days, there wasn't that many people doing it, you know. And I was kind of like, and I sort of talked to a few other people, and they didn't even know what it was, and it was always in the back of my mind, you know. And then when I made the decision to become a virtual assistant, I was sort of really worried because I thought, well, you know, how do I get clients? What do I do? What do I offer? And so because I'd worked in lots of, I suppose, office work, lots of general admin type work, I thought that's what I would offer. And my previous business, I was actually interior designer for 8 years. And a lot of things I did in there, so like email marketing, I'd been doing that since 2010. So I'd used MailChimp, and social media, I've done my own social media. So I knew how to do those things. So I thought, well, actually, that's a really good thing I can offer, plus just general office admin stuff as well. So that's how I basically started out. And I got my first client from, funnily enough, I'd started my business, I think it was June 2018. And I'd started it, and I thought, okay, I've done my website, you know, I did the thing that you're not supposed to do. I got my website done, got my business cards created. Crazy, I know. And then I thought, right, I need some clients. What do I do? No one's coming to me. And then I actually ended up thinking, oh, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. I'll just go and apply for jobs, you know. And I hadn't been employed since my daughter was born, 2007, because my husband and I had started a construction company after she was born. That collapsed because of the earthquakes in Christchurch. We had to wind up that business. We had builders that we had employed, they weren't contractors, so we had to make them redundant right on Christmas 2010. And so within that business, I was everything. I was like, obviously the office, I did the payroll, I did the HR, I did the toolbox talks, I did everything in that. And with the construction connections, I that's how I got into my interior design business, which I did 8 years, or nearly 8 years. So I hadn't been employed for quite a while. So then I found this job that was being advertised. I could work remotely. It was as an employee, and it was for someone who was local in Christchurch. We lived on the outskirts, and he was a business coach for tradies. And I thought, oh, well, that's quite handy. I've sort of had that trading sort of experience. And so, you know, I was actually interviewed on my birthday of all days. And yeah, he was quite keen, and I was going to do social media and help him with that sort of thing. Then as it transpired, it didn't actually work out in the end. He decided perhaps there were better, his wife could do it instead. She was leaving her job, and it was probably, it was just timing, and they thought that would be a better use of their time and obviously money. So that was okay. I thought, oh, well. But anyway, like 2 weeks later, he contacted me and said, oh, I've got a client of mine who needs social media done for them. Would you do that? So that became my first client from a job interview that didn't actually eventuate. I ended up getting this client from him. So, and he actually sent me a couple more clients after that, which was quite good. But they wanted social media, which was fine at the time because that's what I was doing. But it wasn't really, it wasn't something I wanted. If anyone does social media, they know it's always changing, and I just can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it's an exhausting service to be offering if you are doing it well.
Exactly.
There are a lot of virtual assistants out there that offer it, but are they doing a really good job?
Yeah, it is tough. It is really hard. Yeah. And so I was doing email marketing for a couple of those clients as well. So that was quite good. So I was keeping them with that. And then I got another client through a local networking group here in Christchurch. And she was doing online courses. And this was within the first year that I was working as a virtual assistant. And she was using Thinkific. And I hadn't sort of really known anything about that. So she asked me if I could help her out. So I got in there and I learned the platform, and I thought, oh my God, this is really great. I really love this. So I ended up doing that for her for quite a few years. And I had previously done a certificate in adult education and training. And when I was working at the bank, I worked a 4-day week and I had Wednesdays off. And that was kind of like a personal development kind of day that you're allowed to take off. And I actually ended up volunteering for 2 organisations. One was called ARIS, which was the Adult Education Reading Assistance Scheme. So that was for people that come out of the school system and couldn't read for various reasons, whether they hadn't been paying attention, they had dyslexia, all that sort of thing. So I used to help volunteer to help a couple of people that came through that system. And one in particular was a woman who was studying for her driver's license, and she was having trouble, just trying to work out how to understand it all and that. So I helped her through that. So that was something I really enjoyed. And then from then I actually went on and did some ESOL tutoring as well. So there was people that come to New Zealand, didn't know the language, so I'd help them with that. So so from that education sort of background, I really quite like helping people, and I realised that was something I didn't think about until I started doing the online courses, that I could bring that through. Now I actually developed some planning around that as well. So that was quite good.
You've got such an amazing background in terms of your skills and experience. Like that's epic. Some of those things that you've just able to, but you know what? It's not unusual, is it, Jo? It's not unusual for the virtual assistants coming into the industry, especially those that then start off as generalist, offering everything to everyone, because they have got such a diverse range of skills that they can be offering, right?
And when you can, you do. And you think, I'm just going to add all of these services. And Debbie, you would have experienced this too, thinking, this is going to attract so many more clients because I can offer so many more things. But what was your experience, Debbie, with attracting clients?
It was, yes. I mean, I did get a few clients, but then you looked at one of my first versions of my website. I'm probably on version 100 now, but it was like this massive long list of all my services. And looking back now, how confusing, and no one's going to read through that. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I remember that coaching call really well, Debbie. It was a big list. It was a big list. But you're not the only one that starts off with those really big lists. You're really not.
You do because you think you have to, because you want as many clients, or you want as many prospective clients as possible. You want heaps of people contacting you, and so you think you've got to be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get that out of your head that actually know that it doesn't work that way. And it was a coaching call I had with both you, Jo and Sam, that you talked about. And actually, Jo, I loved your paintbrush analogy. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool because obviously, if you don't know it, it's going to sound a bit weird, but like if people know what they want, that's where they're going to head. And that that just was a light bulb moment for me. It was like, oh yes, that makes so much more sense.
We better explain it, because
Yeah.
everyone listening is sort of like, what is this paintbrush analogy? So let's say you want to paint a fence. So you go into the hardware store and you go and have a look at the wall of paintbrushes, and you look at them all and you think, oh gosh, what one am I going to choose? Now, I want to paint a fence, and I can see that one says fence paintbrush. So of course, I'm going to choose the fence paintbrush, because I know they have designed it specifically for painting a fence. It's going to like have the best attributes or features so that it lasts and does a good job. So I'm going to choose that one, because the general purpose brushes, and there's lots of them, I'm going to think, oh, is that really going to cut the mustard for painting the fence? Is it going to last? And so you don't choose the general purpose. You choose the specialist, because you know it's created for that purpose. It's the same with virtual assistants, and the same that you've experienced, Debbie. Once you refined your services, and so you took a first step to specializing, didn't you? You went from all the services to, was it three services? Yeah. So talk us through what happened when you did that.
Okay, so I kept the email marketing, because I've been doing that forever, and I quite like that. And then I did the website design, because I've done a couple of websites that I really liked at that point. So I wanted to carry on with that. And because when I started my website, I used Rocket Spark. So that was, I've used that for about 5 years now. So yeah, that was something I wanted to continue with, because I quite like the creative designery side of things as well. And online courses, because I really got into that and really decided I like that as well. So I was quite happy when I sort of made a list of what I really like to do, and what kind of, when I go to do it, no, I just don't want to do this today. And that was the social media was one of the big ones. And I mean, I quite like designing things. I quite like doing pretty brochures and that sort of thing. But I thought, no, I really have to narrow it right in, because there's too much to learn and there's too much to keep up with. So that's when I narrowed it to 3. But I think the email marketing was sort of front and center, and the other 2 were kind of like behind that at that stage. And I did find that I got known as the one go-to for MailChimp. Like often got shout outs on Facebook groups and things like that, because I suppose that was front and center for me for the email marketing. Yeah.
What? Sorry. Easy for them to remember, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How did you feel? Like you said that coaching call with us was the catalyst for you to go, okay, I've been hearing it for a while, but I actually am going to do it now. That's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like there would have still been some fear, like coming off that call with us, you saying, yep, okay, I'm prepared to niche down to 3, so not all in, but I'm going to go half in. I'm going to niche down to 3. There would have still been a lot of fear. How did you feel then coming off that call and then making the changes to the website and all your online presence and stuff?
Yeah, I still felt quite nervous about it, because I wasn't 100% convinced. It made sense, but I thought, I've just got to see how this goes. So I did make the changes on my website and socials and things. But behind the scenes, I probably was still doing the other bits and pieces for clients. And I just thought, until I get more clients, that I will just keep those, and then they can just naturally drop off. And then, it did happen. Like, because I had specialized, I certainly got those inquiries and got quite a few clients in the email marketing area. So,
and how long did that take, Debbie? How long was that? Was it wouldn't have been a matter of hours. Let's be realistic here.
I would say a couple of weeks. Within a couple of weeks, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's pretty quick. Pretty quick.
And then when I realized that this was actually working, and I was actually getting the clients I wanted to work with, I was quite happy to say no to those ones I didn't. I actually did get inquiries for some social media stuff, and even some existing clients that wanted me to do social media. I just said, no, I'm not doing that, but I can refer you to someone, that can do that for you. So, it kind of felt weird saying no, but it actually felt quite empowering as well. Yeah.
Before that coaching call, Debbie, let's you've shared with us that you're happy to share the story, but it was you were at a real crossroads, weren't you?
Yeah,
you've been offering everything to everybody, and you've been doing pretty well. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, cruising maybe? Like you were
Yeah,
pretty
probably.
comfortable,
Like
you were
just
cruising.
just kind of flat leveling, not really going anywhere. But yeah.
Yeah, but then something happened at home, didn't it? Where
Yeah.
you were like, I've got to go all in now, otherwise I'm going to have to walk away entirely.
Yeah, yeah. My husband lost his job, so that was quite hard. And it was kind of like, right, I'm either just going to have to give this all up and go get a job, which, really wasn't an option. I knew that if I had to do that, and if I had to work in a supermarket or whatever, I'd do it, because I've done it before. It's not an issue. But there was something right inside me that thought, actually, no, I've really got to dig in. I really want to make this work. I've come this far. I'm not prepared to throw it all away just yet, So I think that's when the niching and everything just all happened at the same time. And I thought, right, if I do this, I'm going to give it a month and we'll just see where it goes. And haven't looked back. Definitely not.
Well, there's a period, wasn't there, where you had your 3 services, and then I remember us really pushing you. One day we were like, actually, Debbie, like, now's the time. You've seen it work.
Yeah.
Now's the time to actually face the fear even more and go all in. And so what was that process like? What kind of clicked for you when you now are offering just one service, aren't you, and one specific tool?
Yeah. So I still do the websites and it's the email marketing is now just email newsletters. So I've got some clients I just do newsletters for. So that's where that sits now. That may be something I could perhaps outsource at a later date. And the websites and the Thinkific kind of work together because they're both kind of website based. So yeah. I think that was the next year when I had the next coaching call with you guys. I think that might have been, was it June, July? I think this year.
Yeah.
Somewhere around then. And I thought, right, the email marketing was fine, but the platform keeps changing. They all do. Whatever you're working on, all the platforms are changing. And I thought, it's so hard to keep up with everything, And when I thought about what do I love doing, it was more of the online courses and the website type work. And the email marketing is fine, and I can keep the email newsletters going, but I don't have to know everything about all the other bits and pieces that are changing. So for me, it was just really simplifying things and thinking, what do I really like doing? What am I happy to learn about? If I think about doing some training and looking up, the Thinkific or their training courses and all the changes I'm making in there, I really love. I love looking forward to it. I love attending their webinars and learning about what's new and what's happening. So for me, it was really not that hard. And because I love the online courses, and I actually had created an online course myself, so I'd gone through the whole process, so I knew what that was like. And I've actually got a couple of other courses in the pipeline to do. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing next year as well.
Cool.
So for me, yeah, it was a no-brainer because I just thought, this is what I like doing. And the type of clients I attracted just seemed to be coming from the health and well-being space. So it was like mental health, physical health, and then just people who do health. I've actually got 2 clients, health in the workplace. So it's like, just having the right work-life balance type thing, and employers giving them time off when their children are sick and that sort of thing, advocating for that. So when I looked it up, I actually realized just over 50% of my clients were in that space.
Wow.
And that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to niche to online courses and in the health and wellbeing space. It just made sense. And I realized I love working with those people because they're just really lovely, kind people, if that's the area they're working in, they're just really sweet. And so I've got some amazing clients.
Oh, that's awesome. And especially like now in terms of your online presence and what you're talking about, just talking about the one tool that you are now the specialist VA here in New Zealand for Thinkific, for that tool, that platform.
Yeah. And I've actually just realized the other day when I was Googling myself, my SEO, I put in, I think it was Thinkific Specialist Online Courses New Zealand or something, and I came up as number 1, like
nice,
because I put New Zealand in there. And funny enough, before I'd actually done it, and when I decided to niche, I got 2 inquiries from prospective clients on LinkedIn I think I changed my heading in LinkedIn. And they, both of them, weirdly, at the exact same time, had said they were looking for someone to help them with Thinkific. And they couldn't believe they'd found someone in New Zealand because they thought they would have to go, to America or whatever. And one of them was actually here in Christchurch. And she was like, we actually met in person, which was quite nice to do. Because quite often it's online, but I often love to meet my clients within Christchurch. And she was so lovely, and it was just so nice. She was so happy to have found someone here in Christchurch that could help her. Then she thought she'd have to be outsourcing to overseas. Yeah.
You know what, Debbie? That was the universe giving you a huge sign. Like, because I'm pretty sure that happened like the week before our last coaching call, like before, that call where you decided this is it, we're going all in, niching right down.
That
was just the sign. It was the biggest sign that you needed. Like, yep, this is it. I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah, actually, I've just listened to your woo-woo podcast the other day, and I was thinking I'm not woo-woo at all, but then listened to actually maybe.
I want to touch on a couple of things that you have said just then, Debbie, about changing your headline on your LinkedIn and having that word Thinkific specialist is so key. And that's kind of one of the things that you do when you niche. But what that does is people notice, people see you, people see the word, people search for the word, and you're the person that comes up. Like, that's why you're the go-to Thinkific specialist here in New Zealand, and why people are noticing. So that's kind of the number one tip, right, for LinkedIn. You specialize, you have that headline say exactly what you do. It's really great.
And I think we need to let everybody in on a not so secret. Debbie, you don't like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not your happy place at all, is it? Like, you fought LinkedIn as well.
And I've just recorded my video on LinkedIn, for in the profile picture section, and I'm actually trying to learn to like it more, and I'm actually making an effort every day to spend some time in there, because I know that's where I need to be. It's just not that exciting, is it? It's not like
it's not. I'm with you. It's not exciting. I'm with you.
It's not, but it got you clients, hasn't it, Debbie?
It was amazing, and I wasn't even trying at that point.
That's the thing. You don't have to try as hard on LinkedIn as you do on the other platforms.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
The views that you can get on posts on LinkedIn is like 10 times, if not 20 times more than on a Facebook post on your Facebook page. The reach is so much better.
So no, I need to have a bit of a strategy there.
We've got a question.
Whatever you're doing is working, Debbie. So.
It is, exactly. We've got a question on our list, Debbie, that do you wish that you had niched sooner?
This is kind of a yes and no answer. Yes, because now I can see the benefit of it all, and how much easier it would have been. But no, in a way, because to have got to where I am, I had to do what I did, like it's I mean, I could have made it a little bit shorter, maybe, but like I was just over 4 years in before I completely niched right down. But the journey has been good, though, in a way, and I've learned a lot as well. So yes, probably overall, yes, definitely, but maybe a couple of years earlier would have been better.
Well, you had to go on that journey to figure out what you really loved too, didn't you?
Exactly right. Yeah. And it does. Yeah, it does take a while. I'm not someone that knows straight away this is what I want. So I like to take my time and look at everything and make that decision. Then
What do you love? What do you love about Thinkific? Because there are so many platforms that you could have chosen to specialize in when it comes to course creation. It sounds like you kind of fell into Thinkific, but why go all in on Thinkific?
Yeah, I did. But I did look at some other ones, and then I looked at what the two popular ones were in that price range. I mean, I know there's more expensive ones like Kajabi, so that's sort of definitely out there on its own, I think. But then when you come down, you've got like Teachable and you've got Thinkific. And for me, I looked at just, I actually did end up comparing them both because I wanted to make sure I was happy with what I was going to be promoting as well. And they're very, very similar. It does, in the end, for me, it came down to the fact that when people create courses on there, they're not paying per user. So if someone buys a course, there has to be a bit of like commission that goes back to them. Think of it, don't do that, whereas Teachable do, which was the other one. And I actually preferred the ease of layout. I thought the layout was better in Think of It. And and I find when I went through everything, then it always seemed to come up on top. Think of It.
Yeah.
So that was the one that I chose. And I thought it's quite affordable too for people, especially if they're just starting out with courses.
Did you ever feel that imposter syndrome kick in? Like that, because when you do niche so far down, so specific, that kind of being known as a specialist, being known as the go-to, being known as the guru in one particular tool, sometimes that's a whole mindset shift to getting to that point where you do feel a bit comfortable putting yourself out as that virtual assistant.
Not really, not so much with doing the online courses, because I've used the platform for over 4 years now. And the platform has changed heaps from when I first started, and I've moved with it. So I feel like I'm right on top of that, and I understand everything about it.
Yeah.
It's probably more earlier on that I mean, everyone still has imposter syndrome, but it was more earlier on when I was trying to do everything and I did feel it then. I felt, how can I be good at everything? Like that is actually really hard. So people expect me to be, know everything about something, and you're kind of like surface level on everything, you haven't really gone that deep. So not so much now, but yeah, definitely previously I did,
Well, now you only have to learn one tool and be up on top of it. So it's so much easier.
Oh, totally.
Such a great benefit to niching.
Yeah.
So you've been in the members club for, I think, 4 years. So what is some of the kind of advice or tips or like aha moments that you've had along your kind of 4-year journey in business that you think the listeners would really benefit from hearing?
I think for me, because as I joined, it would have been about 4 years ago, and I basically joined for obviously the support and some guidance. So for me, the niching is probably one of the biggest things. But you have to go on that journey. I believe you still have to go on a journey to niche, unless that's something you've always done and you're happy to do that. But I think for most people, they do have a variety of work because you want to try and appeal to everyone, don't you? And you're sort of like, I'll just offer everything. So for me, it was probably more than the niching was probably the big aha moment for me, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've definitely taken that on board and done it so well.
Debbie, you're like us. You're an introverted virtual assistant, aren't you? Has what type of struggles, if any, has that brought you?
When I first started out, I didn't want to put myself out there. So my profile photo was always just a logo. I didn't want to put my face out there. And then I think I had a photo shoot quite early on. And then I looked at my photos and thought, I'm going to have to put them out there and on the website. So I did that, because I was hiding behind my logo most of the time. And that was really hard to put my face out there. And then I did a brand video shoot. This was probably a couple of years ago, which was quite good too. Can't use it now because it's all different. But still, it was good at the time. And that gave me a little bit more confidence. And I did put those videos out there. For me, the main struggle is going live. I'm okay with things that are recorded, which may sound weird, but I think going live is a whole different level. Like, especially you think, who's watching? Is anyone watching? What are they thinking? And I can't concentrate what I'm saying because I'm too busy thinking about all these other things. Whereas if I'm recording something, I know I can do it over, a few times. It doesn't actually really matter until I get it right. So, and I'm happy to put that out there if it's recorded. Going for me is probably my biggest block.
What about networking? Because you've become, I mean, you're such an integral part of the VA community here in New Zealand for sure, and you are definitely an integral part of the Christchurch community. And you came to the awards in the Waikato, and I don't think that was necessarily in your comfort zone, was it? A big room of people.
Funnily enough, that I actually really look forward to that, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think if I was going to something else, say like my husband's work do or something, like I don't have nothing in common with anybody, I'd hate it.
Yeah.
And because I wouldn't really know anyone. But because, I've been in the virtual assistant community for all these years, and we're on Zooms and we chat quite a bit, and plus obviously I know the Christchurch girls really well, I felt like I knew everyone. Like it didn't feel like such a big thing. And the other thing is we were all there because we all had so much in common.
Yeah.
And it's such a lovely community and such a lovely feeling. And you walk in and you just see these familiar faces. You may not have met these people before, but you just see them, and you just, you go up and you're hugging people you've never met before, but because you do know them. And I don't know, I just felt really comfortable there. I felt like this was my tribe. These are the people that just that light me up and just support me through. And it was quite a different feeling. So yeah, as an introvert, I mean, I was a little bit hesitant, I suppose, but once I got there, I felt better, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Once we got there and got chatting to people. Yeah.
It is. You see people on Zoom and, these types of situations for so many years. It is like that. When you finally meet them in person, you forget that you haven't met them in person before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you know them because you do know them. It's just in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And did you think that having that kind of community, that support network of other virtual assistants going through the same thing and you getting to know them, has that been an important kind of aspect of your business and feeling confident?
That has been the most important thing because, for a lot of virtual assistants, family and friends might not quite get us. They might not understand, especially if they're not in business themselves or they don't understand business. It's really hard for them to, I suppose, to understand what you do. And a lot of people still don't really know what I do. I'm sure a lot of my family don't really understand what I do. They know I work from home, but, I've got it all done. And I think for me personally, that was the most important part, to have that support, because when you do work on your own and you don't have anyone around you to bounce things off, or even if you did try to bounce things off with someone else that they didn't really understand, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it, or it's not a big deal, or if it's that hard, go get a job, and you're kind of like, no, that's not what I that's not the answer I wanted. So that in the community, when you've got a problem and you ask the question out there, and you're going to get lots of replies, and everyone is going to be attuned to how you feel because they're there and they know what it's like as well.
Yeah. It's so cool. I love that. I love that so much. But you know that I'm all about community anyway. Back to the niching and back to your business. And I've just realized I did such a crap introduction that I don't think I told anybody your business name, which is Task Diva. But Task Diva, once you niched, you embraced your niche, fully booked, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
With a wait list.
Yes, I have a wait list now.
How long is your wait list?
I've got a couple of clients going to start with in February, because January is kind of, it's in the crazy sort of time, so just push it out to February. So
it's
nice.
I'm good for this year. So yeah.
So you're in this great position where you can pick and choose the projects that you want to work on, and pick and choose the type of clients you work with.
Yep. I just turned a prospective client down the other day. They wanted some email newsletters done, but it was just in an area that I just thought, no, I don't need to.
Don't have to do it anymore, Debbie.
Don't got a pipeline of work. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
Does the saying no come easier now, 4.5 years in?
Huge, yeah. Before I'd hesitate. I was like, what happens if I don't get any more inquiries? I've got to take this one. You start to panic, and then and now it's like, no. You get that gut feeling. You're saying, do I want to work with this person? Do I want to do this type of work? Do I like the industry they're in? No. So yeah, it's so much easier now. And you know that when you say no to someone, not shutting the door forever, you know that something else is going to come along, because it does. It's amazing when you let a client go or say no to something, there's something always comes and replaces it. Like, it's just, you're leaving that space open.
And you say you're not woo-woo.
I know. But this is actually what works. Like, I know I'm not woo-woo. Well, maybe I am now. Yeah, so I have found that every time I have said no, or, you know, a client moved on, you know, you sort of think, oh, but then something always comes and replaces it. It does work.
And it works because you are so clear on what you do want.
Yeah.
The universe is providing, even though you might not be woo-woo, the universe is providing you with exactly what you want because you're so clear, and you do course creation and Thinkific for the health and wellness sector. So you're out there, you've got this amazing clear message, and you can attract those right clients in, and the universe can provide. It's amazing.
And actually, Sam, I have 2 crystals on my desk.
Oh.
My daughter gave them to me because she's into crystals. And so she gave me citrine, which I think she said was for abundance or something. Something about money coming in. And then I got amethyst because that was my mum's birthstone. And I think that's for like keeping you calm and lessening anxiety or something like that. Anyway, so she gave me those 2 crystals. She said, Mum, you need these on your desk. So that's quite funny, because the day she gave them to me, I got a new client. I was like, oh, that was interesting.
Debbie, you were so woo-woo. You were so woo-woo. I know your story is going to be really, really inspiring to a lot of listeners of the show, because you were, I don't know, you were a matter of weeks away from having to work in a supermarket.
Oh, I was
being fully booked.
Yeah.
Earning what you need to earn. You've created a flexible business that fits in with the life, so you can spend the time that you spend on your health and your exercise and your daughter and your husband. And you've got a wait list until bloody February.
I know. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I sort of got to remind myself, you know, you sort of think, oh, yeah, you know. I had a client I was supposed to do some work with in November, and it is not happening at the moment. And it's like, oh, but then, you know, something else came along. It's like, oh, well, actually, it's probably just as well I'm not going to be able to fit everything in before Christmas, you know. So, yeah.
We're so proud of you, Debbie. You have done an amazing job in really nailing that niche right down.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we haven't covered, or anything that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I think just one of the biggest things is to trust your gut. And I know we've said this a lot in the members club. You know, a lot of things come up with, oh, I think this is a red flag. What do you think? You know, and everyone has their opinion. And the times I haven't trusted my gut, it's come back to haunt me. Clients have been a nightmare. And to be fair, I have not had a lot. There's probably only 2 that I can think of that were. One was a complete nightmare, but that was okay. That was very, very early on when I was trying to do everything. And that was fine. That ended quite amicably in the end, so that was quite good. Another one, she probably didn't actually realise she was annoying me. But every time I was like, I'd see her, like, you know, name in the inbox, and I was like, oh. But anyway, so trust your gut. Definitely trust your gut, and be aware of those red flags. And don't think that you have to take on work because you can't say no. And saying no is probably one of the hardest things to learn in business. But you've got to think of yourself. You've got to think of your own sanity and your own health. And if someone's just going to be hard work because they're like emailing you or messaging you at 10 o'clock at night, you know, you don't need that. So try not to be afraid to say no. And try and put your faith in the universe, as we say, that something else will come along. Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice. So anyone listening, Debbie Mills-Robertson, because my intro was so bad, task diva, virtual assistant here in New Zealand, specializing in course creation using the Thinkific platform. So if you know anybody that needs to get a course built, Debbie is your gal.
Thanks so much, Debbie, for coming along. This has been very inspirational. So thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.